I'm Tracy Linge, Communications Director with Social Security's Office of the Inspector General. Thanks for joining us today. It's National Slam the Scam Day, a day where we raise awareness about government imposter scams. Did you know Social Security imposter scams are the #1 type of government imposter fraud reported to the Federal Trade Commission? So tonight we're teaming up with the Federal Trade Commission to help slam the scam during National Consumer Protection Week. We want to share tips with you on how to avoid government imposter scams. Joining us for today's conversation is Drew Johnson, Chief of Staff of the Division of Consumer and Business Education at the Federal Trade Commission. Feel free to drop a question in the comments section below, and we'll do our best to answer them as soon as possible. However, please do not post personally identifiable information here or on any social media. Welcome, Drew. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and describe National Consumer Protection Week?
Sure, Tracy. Thank you. It's great to be on Facebook Live with you to talk about scams that affect so many people. And as you mentioned, I'm with the Division of Consumer and Business Education at the FTC. And it's our job to educate people about their rights and businesses about their responsibilities. And we do that in a lot of ways. We're constantly creating educational materials and working with partner organizations to spread the word about scams. National Consumer Protection Week, NCPW, is a time to really focus on helping people know how to spot and avoid scams so they can make well-informed decisions to protect their hard-earned money. It's a coordinated campaign that takes place during the first week of March every year. We bring together government agencies with national organizations, state and local partners, and we hold events and share materials, all to help people protect themselves from scams.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about these scams. Drew, why do Americans receive so many of these scam robocalls, and how can they stop them?
Two really good questions, Tracy. So why so many robocall scams? Scammers actually make millions of robocalls to US phone numbers every day. The truth is, they're a cheap and easy way for scammers to reach all of us. And what's really frustrating for so many people is that the calls can sometimes look so legit. Scammers can fake the name and number that shows up, so it looks like, it's coming from a government agency, say the Social Security Administration, or from a local phone number. But really, it's just scammers calling over a computer, so you really can't trust your caller ID. Scammers, they don't care if you're on the National Do Not Call Registry. Your best defense against unwanted calls is call blocking. The way you block or label calls is going to depend on your phone. There are different ways to block for mobile, traditional landline, or a home phone that makes calls over the internet. And I have 2 resources to share. If you're looking for more info on how to block calls, go to ftc.gov/calls. And if you spot a scam, whether it's a robocall or not, report it at reportfraud.ftc.gov. One of the best ways you can help us fight fraud is to tell us and to tell others in your community.
That's great. Thank you for that. I want to follow up on one point. My office, the Office of the Inspector General, has worked with Social Security and telephone companies to stop those real Social Security numbers from showing up on caller ID when scammers use them, but no method is foolproof. So thank you for that advice to not trust caller ID. So, Drew, can you tell us, how does a government imposter phone scam work?
Sure, Tracy. Like with those calls, scammers want to seem official. So they'll sometimes pretend to be government officials to get you to send them money or to get your personal information. They may threaten you with arrest or a lawsuit if you don't pay a supposed debt, or they may promise lottery winnings if you pay taxes or some other fees. As you mentioned earlier, Social Security scams have been the top government imposter scams for the past few years. Many of us have gotten calls from someone saying your Social Security number has been suspended or that it's been involved in a crime. They may threaten to arrest you or bring a legal action against you. They do this to scare you into acting quickly, and so you'll send money or share your personal information. They'll often tell you to pay in a particular way too, often by gift card, money transfer, mailing cash, or even cryptocurrency. No matter what the story the scammers try to get you to believe, the goal is always the same: to get you to send them money or to get your personal information. Here's a tip that can protect you and your loved ones from scams. Nobody legitimate will ever tell you to wire money, buy gift cards, or pay with cryptocurrency. A legitimate business won't ask you to pay that way, and certainly never the government. So if anyone does, you know it's a scam. Oh, and your social security number won't ever get suspended, ever. Take a look at the graphic on the screen. This is just a visual to show you the scale of the problem. In 2020, the FTC received close to 180,000 reports of government imposter scams. Of the people who reported that they lost money, the median was around $1,250. That's a significant loss. And we know not everyone reports, so the problem is much larger. It's really important to recognize the signs of an imposter scam, avoid it, report it, and tell your friends and family. And again, you can report at reportfraud.ftc.gov.
That's a great point. Social Security, just to reiterate, does not suspend numbers. If there's ever a problem with your Social Security account or your benefits, the agency is going to mail you a letter. So if you get a call out of the blue about a problem you don't recognize, it's a scam. Just hang up. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Drew Johnson. He's the Chief of Staff of the Division of Consumer and Business Education at the Federal Trade Commission. We're talking government imposter scams and how you can identify and avoid them. Feel free to drop a question in the comment section below, but remember not to post personally identifiable information here or on any social media. So Drew, I think most of us have received these scam calls at this point. They are so common. Are older adults targeted more for these scams, or do they experience them more often than other age groups?
Everyone's targeted for scams, and the FTC data shows that all of us can fall for them. In fact, government imposter scams are one of the top scams reported by folks of all ages, from 20-somethings to people in their 80s. One important difference that we see in the numbers is that when there are losses, older people tend to lose more. And that's a big deal, to lose a large chunk of money if you're retired or close to it. There's just less of a chance of making that money back when you're in your 70s or 80s. But it doesn't mean that older people are losing money more often than younger people. The important message here is that scammers are going after all of us, and no one is immune to scams. One of the best ways to protect yourself against scams is to talk about it. Share your experiences with friends and family, and we have some really great tips on how to start those conversations at ftc.gov/passiton.
That's great, thank you. And I would add, if you have lost money to a scammer, don't keep it to yourself. Report it to your local police, the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov, and we at Social Security's Office of the Inspector General, we have a dedicated online form for just Social Security related scam calls, and that's at oig.ssa.gov. So Drew, how can our audience protect themselves from scams?
Another good question. So there are a few easy steps that we've already talked about, and you can find them all at ftc.gov/scams. First, block unwanted calls and text messages. That way you don't see those scams in the first place. Start at ftc.gov/calls. Second, never give your personal information or financial information out in response to a request that you didn't expect. Nobody legit will ever call, email, text, or ask for your information like your social security number, your bank account numbers, your credit card numbers, and definitely don't click on the links that they put in emails or text messages. Third, resist the pressure to act immediately. Legitimate government agencies will give you time to make a decision. Anyone who pressures you to pay or to give your personal information is a scammer. Fourth, remember how scammers tell you to pay. Only scammers will insist that you pay with a gift card, money transfer, cash, or cryptocurrency, and never deposit a check or send money back to someone. That's another sign of a scam. Finally, stop and talk with someone you trust. It buys you some time, and you might realize that it's a scam. And of course, tell the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov.
And what should someone do if they already gave their personal information to a scammer?
Sure. If you've already shared your personal information, your social security number, credit card number, bank account number, visit identitytheft.gov to report identity theft and get a personalized recovery plan. You'll get detailed advice on how to fix your problems caused by identity theft. You'll also get a personalized recovery plan that walks you through each step to take, and get pre-filled letters and forms to send to credit bureaus, businesses, and debt collectors. No matter what type of identity theft you've experienced, you'll find out what to do right away. So again, start at identitytheft.gov.
Unfortunately, it looks like we've run out of time. Thank you, Drew, for joining us today to talk about how to protect yourself from scams and fraud. And remember, Social Security does not suspend Social Security numbers. If you owe money to Social Security, they will send you a letter in the mail. Block scam calls before you get them. Start at ftc.gov/calls and don't trust caller ID. If you get a suspicious call, just hang up. Please be sure to share this video with your family and friends. Thank you for helping us slam the scam.
Thieves use email, telephone, and social media for various online scams. They also send fake text messages. This is known as smishing. Taxpayers need to remember that the IRS will not contact them by text message or social media and ask for personal or financial information. The IRS will also not initiate contact by phone or email. If the IRS needs to contact you, it'll usually first send a letter in the mail through the U.S. Postal Service. Like phishing scams, which are scams sent by email, smishing scams will appear to be from trusted companies, government agencies, and charities. Cybercriminals pose as the IRS and Treasury Department in smishing scams that attempt to collect personal and financial information from taxpayers. These text messages will often use fake URLs and fake website names. Do not open them. They could lead you to a website that can be used to steal your personal information, or they could even load malware onto your device. These text messages may also contain a telephone number to call back. Do not call that number. It's not the IRS or Treasury Department. It's a scam. Remember, you should be wary of any unsolicited text messages you receive, whether it says it's from the IRS or an organization offering governmental aid. Always verify that contact, content, and context with the actual government agency on their actual government website. Taxpayers should report fake IRS, Treasury, and tax-related text messages to phishing@irs.gov. For more information on how to identify the scams and protect yourself, visit irs.gov/phishing. Remember, gift cards are for gifts, not for making tax payments. Many people give gift cards as a convenient gift for any occasion. Scammers use gift cards to steal your money. Here's how this usually works. The scammer may call you, impersonating an IRS agent, or contact you by text, email, or social media. The criminal calls or leaves a voicemail with a callback number claiming that you are linked to criminal activity. The scammer will harass you, demanding you pay a bogus tax penalty. The scammer instructs you to buy gift cards from various stores. Once you buy the gift cards, the scammer asks for the card number and PIN. Don't fall for it and visit irs.gov/scams to learn more.